Welcome everyone to some gameplay on Victoria 3, the newly released game from Paradox, something that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. I myself am excited about. I've actually been playing a little bit of Victoria 3 for the last week or so, trying to get my feet wet, preparing for this one gameplay video, which, I wanted to show some degree of competence over. So for those of you who are going to start the game, I have to say I strongly recommend starting as the recommended Learn the Game Sweden. It was helpful, although the tutorials sometimes don't always tell you exactly the right move to do. As in hindsight, I would say that they sometimes advise you to do things which are contrary to your benefit, your best interest. But that's okay. But we are going to be playing as Sweden in the normal sandbox mode, so there won't be any special like tutorial pop-ups or anything like that. We'll just be playing the normal game. Now, I don't understand why, but I can't figure out why the game rules... Okay, here we are. Ours just standard, and last time I picked these options, if you want, you can go lenient, and then they'll be a little more, friendly towards you in diplomatic plays. And trust me, that is important. Don't underestimate how important that is going to be. That is very, very helpful. And the nice thing is that AI behavior towards players basically helps you in battles and wars and things. I mean, not in battles, but in wars. It does not make the economy any easier, as far as I know. I don't know all the modifiers, and it also it ends up being very difficult, I think, to do diplomatic plays. At least for me, I've only done like a series of them, which were awesome, but I also had this on lenient because it was the tutorial. AI aggression, I find that when it's on low, you have a pretty stable world, and that may not. We'll do AI aggression standard here, but. I don't know, I don't think that this makes the game that much easier. It will for if you're trying to be aggressive, if you're trying to take over the world, paint the map, then probably this has a huge impact. But this just probably has how much stuff is going to be happening all around you. We'll do the default options. Did I do the default? Oh, no. I didn't do the default options. And we'll be playing as Sweden. So we'll see if we can keep Sweden a major power. And not only that, but I think that there's other considerations besides just keeping them a major power, but making sure that we grow their GDP. So we're starting off here with a GDP of 5 million. Don't worry about this. This is the GDP of Svealand itself. We can go over here. So these are all the matching stats. We have GDP, 5 million. Literacy is 54%, well, 55. Standard of living, as I like to say, 11.9, standard of living. And population just under 3 million. Now, my goal is to just wring this country for all the economic potential it can get, which means we're going to take advantage of a few of the things that it has. It has Scandinavian forests, which is a plus 20% logging industry throughput, and it also has this Bergslagen, which is an improvement to iron mines and lead mines in Svealand. We don't always have that. Excuse me. We have plus 20% iron mines here, so iron mines very, very productive if we can get them in Nordland. We also have the Scandinavian forest trait there. And down here we have Scandinavian forest, and last but not least we have Scandinavian soils. So the southern part gives us a slightly better agricultural throughput. Now if you're wondering, I don't really know how many benefits you're expected to get from different places. It looks like pretty much every state is going to give you some kind of it push you towards some specialization, just as I pick up like 4 of the French states that don't have it. But I think that a lot of states also will. Like this one should have it. Yeah, there. We have coal mines and all that. But it's nice to see that these are all custom tailored to the land itself. I think a lot of polish, a lot of detail has gone into this game. So let's start off by picking our active research. The 2 that I like to pick are society. I'm a money man, so I really like to see the central bank stuff, which can help, especially in the beginning when you're going to run a pretty strong deficit. At least I am going to aggressively spend to try to improve my economy. So that is going to require a little bit of borrowing, although we start with a very sizable gold reserve. I'm sure I can blow through that pretty quickly. The other thing we might have considered doing, although I didn't, F7, although I didn't really even show it, is starting to get better technology. This is essentially probably a better option first and foremost. In fact, can I switch to it? Is that it? Did I just switch? I did. Okay, great. So let's switch to intensive agriculture or Bessemer process for steel mills. I'm not going to need that one quite yet because basically we don't have our steel up and running yet. Atmospheric engine pumps would be useful to get more out of our mines. I don't know. You can probably get a benefit out of all of these if you play your cards right. Our iron mines, we basically want to just produce a ton of those to begin with. I think soil enriching farms might actually be, let me just check out what this gives us. So this does cost fertilizer, but we also get fertilizer from some of our whatever they're called, our farms. They're going to give us fertilizer. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so next up is what do we want to do with our population? Actually, let me get some decrees going. So if I go over to our political lens, we can get some decrees going. I want to do encourage resource. We can only encourage agriculture or encourage resource. I want to start encouraging, throughput for this, it could lower the price, right? So might be a bad thing. Let me hold off on this for just a moment. One thing that I know I want to do is greener grass campaign, which increases the migration attraction. And I'm just going to drown our provinces in this, which unfortunately does cost bureaucracy, but I think it's very important to do. So, all right, let's get moving under game speed 3, and let's start building stuff. Let's start off with maybe some more logging camps. I'm going to switch over to this. There's 2 different ways of viewing things. I like the at a glance. I mean, I don't know, it's about even. This is more artistic, more, I guess it's prettier. But look I'm a man who plays games like Rule the Waves too. I like to see the numbers, and this gives me everything in a smaller snapshot. So it's nicely done. One of the things that I want to do is get more logging camps. The more you have of a particular item, the higher the throughput. So you can see plus 7% economy of scale. That means that every one beyond the first that you expand to will give you a 1% throughput bonus. So I think it goes up to 31, so the maximum is a plus 30% throughput bonus. But that's basically free resources that are generated at the output for having more items stacked on the input. Now, we may not want to, the throughput actually, so it's good because you have less producing more. But the downside is you also lower your prices that way. Now, of course, producing more at a slightly lower price is going to be more profit, more total, gains than producing less at slightly higher. And I can see that immediately what we're going to need is tools. So let me get this thing. In fact, the tools business, we're probably going to need to expand this like almost ad nauseum. Scania is doing okay as far as infrastructure goes. They are not doing okay as far as infrastructure goes. Well, we can solve that. We have a decree for that, which will increase road maintenance. Now this will give us a plus 25% bonus to infrastructure, and we do need it for Scania right away, which means that now we have 4 extra infrastructure, but it is going to cost us some bureaucracy to do that, so we have to be a little bit careful. We'll see if hopefully I haven't gone over my bureaucracy demands. Now, as far as diplomacy goes, places that I would like to improve relations with are Prussia and Great Britain to start. That puts us down to plus 115 influence. Now, we don't have any infamy. By the way these bars work is that there's a certain amount that you have a balance, basically. And the balance is either positive. The more positive it is, the more you get some kind of benefit. So for bureaucracy, for example, there's a state construction efficiency for the higher your bureaucracy is in a positive balance. And the positive modifier is nice, but it's obviously better to spend pretty much all of it down to 0. But the negative modifier is pretty severe, and you want to avoid that. So it's kind of nice to keep things at 0. In fact, I would even say that even for money, there's probably some sense in keeping this pretty close to 0. You don't want to borrow too much because then, there's benefits to building, right? Your return on investment and all that. But if you get too far in the negative, then you're going to pay more taxes. More loan interest. So anyway, let's keep moving. I'm not trying to tutorialize too much. It's just part of my nature. I can't help it. So we'll see how this goes. We have 1 building going right now, which is just tooling workshops. In fact, we made 2 of them. That might be a little too aggressive to start. We're going to want more iron mines to support that. We basically just want to play to our advantages, and we see that our advantages are plus 20% logging, which not a surprise, right? We know that logging is going to be a big deal. So let's just continue to increase this as well. You can see that these guys are making a nice weekly balance. I get some portion of that through taxes and whatnot, but basically we want to make sure that this is as much, Victoria 3 is as much as anything an economy simulator. It's basically a tycoon game at the grand strategy level. A lot of what you're going to be doing is managing this, especially for a nation like Sweden. I'd also say like Belgium also has this. If you're going to play something like, like Great Britain, any of the places with more colonies, I think France would also be a good, those are larger nations that have a lot more complexity to them. I've stayed away from those just because I'm still learning the game and I don't want to, especially in front of a live audience, show off how naive I am. Anyways, in my game, test game as Sweden, Axel Warner lived to the ripe old age of 94. In fact, in that game, which is still ongoing, he's not dead. So he's still, I don't know how, the man is a living legend. And in that game, just to kind of talk while we're getting things going here, I'll go up to 4 speed. It's amazing. Tortuga's playing at speed 4. Is this not amazing? Are you not amazed? I'm amazed. But this game kind of allows it. You can kind of get away with stacking up a few items and waiting for things to happen. I'm probably not being super min-max efficient here, but we have no subsidies out. Everyone looks like they're positive. My goal is just to grow to the GDP as fast as I can. I'd like to grow this GDP. Let's try to double it within 10 years. That's insane, right? Probably. Okay, let's try to double it by 1855, 20 years. How about that? Get literacy up to maybe above 60%. Standard of living, I'd like that to be, well, let's just let this grow naturally. I don't have any target for it. Population, I would like to double. Also probably by maybe 1850. So right now we're a minor power. That's not good. I don't know if we start the game as a minor power. Minor powers versus different major powers, you have more maneuvers. So maneuvers you don't have to worry about unless you're in a diplomatic play, but when you're in a diplomatic play, they are crucial. It's basically how many times you can try to pull on different people's strings and bring them into your side. And I've had in this, let's keep playing, but I've had in the one time I did this, my goal was to get a port at Zeeland, just to have basically access to the entire Danish market for free. No tariffs, just free access. But that little just me versus Denmark situation ended up blossoming into a world war, which involved Great Britain and Prussia on my side versus Russia and Venezuela on the other. Remarkable to see that the Battle of Schleswig-Holstein was being fought between the British and the Venezuelans. So some comical things can happen, but obviously it just shows the impact of a very simple thing. I just wanted to take, I wanted trade access into Denmark, exclusive, mind you. I mean, it would be just for me. And in order to do that, I had to use all these diplomatic maneuvers. So that's pretty complex. I would say that's a little more advanced feature. We're not going to be doing that to start. We're going to be monitoring monthly price reports a whole lot. In fact, that's pretty much all we're going to be doing is trying to make the economy grow. And the biggest impact for that is just trying to construct the right thing at the right time. So probably the one thing we'll want to do is to increase our construction sectors. I can probably do that even sooner than that logging camp, just to speed up the process of future building. And there is an advantage to building, although there's also a throughput bonus for stacking construction sectors on top of each other. There is also this state efficiency. So if you're going to build a lot in one particular state, as you might imagine, it behooves you to have the construction centers in that particular place. So I think I will get one construction center in Scania, which is very, very likely to be one of the places where I'm going to be building a lot. And probably I'll get one here as well. I mean, we're going to pay out the nose for these construction centers, but to have that ability to build quickly, we'll probably outbuild our population. But again, we did already enact the decree to greener grass, so basically to bring in people. And I have the ability to do one more of these. It'll cost 75, which will put me... Oh, it's authority? Okay, well, forget it. In fact, I want all my places to have greener grass. I guess I don't. The only place I don't... poor old Gotland here. And mind you, this is Gotland and this is Gotland. I don't know how to say those, so that's just my own pretend pronunciation of it. But you have Gotland here, and then you have Gotaland, probably. Anyway, this is two different places that are, spelled very similarly. So in the tutorial, there was something about click on Gotland, and I kept clicking on Gotaland. Obviously, it was not the right place, but I was none the wiser for, let's say a minute. Expensive government goods. Iron, tools, wood. Well, basically... well, you couldn't say it... yeah, basically everything. Let's see if we can afford the... is it... yeah, this is authority. So this is going to improve mines and logging. We can only do one of resource or this or this. So these are mutually exclusive, these three. I think that we're going to go with... what's our resource usage here? Yeah, we have logging camps and all that. So we have the ability to do a little bit more. Obviously, I'm decreasing the enactment time for things. But I don't care about that. Actually, we don't have any enactment. We don't have any change in policy going on at the government level. So it's perfectly fine for my authority. Sorry, I can get them all confused. To just be really pressed into service. All right, down to 35. It's fine. So everyone is going to have much better. Oh, we do not need resources. We'll definitely cancel that from Scania. And I might want to do agriculture here. Is that what they have? They do have a lot of agriculture. So yeah, let me do that. Okay, good. So you can see that the other ones appeared red because they were already doing a different policy to boost. But I think this is good. We have the greener grass, which can give us more people. And we're also going to start building like crazy. Okay, good. So take a breath, Tortuga, and admire the game. This is an economy simulator. Okay, so tools price has gone down. Is that because we built a second one? It is. Now, cash reserves were going down, which means there's a negative balance here. I can always subsidize, right? But probably it's just better for us to figure out, well, why is the cost going down? Why is the price going down? And it's probably because the price of these other things is too high. So as soon as we can, let's start increasing our iron mines. And let's pick a place where the iron mines is highest. We have 2 here. We have 5 here, and we have none here. We could turn Norland into a dedicated iron mine location, but for now, I do see that Sevilla land is ripe for the increase. So let's do that. We are getting these construction centers too. So logging camp. I guess let's get these construction centers even faster. It only takes 3 weeks for them to build. So I'm going to get both of them, in fact. And after that, we should have enough construction to be doing 2 things at the same time. Meanwhile, we're just passively improving relations with people. You can get an idea of what you can expect from the different nations. If you click on the nation, usually when you click on a place, it goes to the state. You click on this arrow to go to the higher in the hierarchy, which in this case is the nation. And you can see what their strategies are. They have a conservative agenda, so that's politically, internally. They want to acquire colonies. Well, that luckily won't impact us much. And then I guess economy-wise, they want to expand their agricultural base. We could eventually at some point, especially with the bureaucracy we have, we can use this bureaucracy, and you can see that. You can increase or decrease your trade routes. We might have some trade routes, like for example, what's our market looking like? Pause real fast. So we have services, which is a little bit in high demand. That's one of the very few things you cannot import. Right now, iron is worth a lot, and we can maybe we should go look at our iron mines and make sure there's not something we can do. Yeah, atmospheric engine pump would be very important to do. Let's see how we're doing as far as research goes. What do we choose? Intensive agriculture. So we probably should have well, we're already getting atmospheric engine, which is wonderful. So this is going to finish in 18 months, but it looks like this will finish in 5 to 9 months, which is crazy. So that's going to be very good. As soon as we get atmospheric engines, we'll apply those to our mines. Our logging camps probably can do something too, right? Yeah, we'll leave hardwood on for now. Sawmills, okay, they already have a 1-level bump. But the iron mines do not. And this is going to require more tools, and it's going to require coal. So in theory, we're going to want coal mines when that happens, but first let's start getting our iron mines up. Another way of solving the problem of having a lot of a shortage of iron is just by producing more iron, right? Services are expensive. There is a way we can improve that by, if we have glass, we can go to market stalls. This increases the number of services. We could also just simply expand. No, we cannot expand urban centers. Okay, I actually never tried to do that. I've only ever tried to influence services through this, so you cannot expand them directly. Yeah, there's other things we could do. If we have coal, we could go to change to gas street lights, which allows people to open later, I guess, and basically another impact on coal. So essentially, we will have a use for coal as soon as we can get it, which makes me think we might as well get it whenever is a good time to get it next. So there it is. It's queued. Yeah, it's nice to be able to make progress on two things at the same time. So we have 2 iron mines being constructed. We'll want more logging camps. And I just use F4, which is this market screen, to give me an idea of, first of all, this is the orders versus buy versus sell orders. So it gives you an indication of like if there's, more sell orders available or more buy orders available than sell orders, then, that's going to have a upward push on your price. It makes sense. And you can kind of tell the impact of it on the total price itself. Now this is our market price, which can be impacted by importing from other markets. So there's a whole economy thing going on here, obviously. But yeah, I mean, the long and short of it is, buy versus sell orders, we can fix this, and that'll have some impact on market price. But when we see that prices are too high for things, that's probably something we want to address. Like, we could import iron, but that just seems silly for the iron hills of Sweden to be importing iron. So we're going to do our best here. Okay, improve relations was broken by Prussia. But that's okay. I think we're already pretty happy with them. First of all, their attitude towards us, which is not the same as relations. Their attitude towards us, I'll just keep running at speed 3, is genial. We can see that means they view us as a desirable ally. Similarly, you can look at Russia and see, okay, it's conciliatory, it's in green. They view Sweden as a mistaken enemy. They want to kind of make reparations, not really reparations, but they want to make amends for past hostile relations or past tensions. However, the relations that we have with them are poor. So it's important to note. Who is Great Britain improving relations with? Oh. Okay. Interesting, though, because their attitude is belligerent. Target of conquest. Which is not... I'm not, like, ecstatic. That doesn't... I'm not extremely happy to learn about that. Now, we have a negative income, which is not surprising. In fact, we've blown through half of our gold reserves already. Note that this is in white, which means that if we weren't constructing, we would be positive by some amount. So that if it's red, that means that even without the construction, you would be negative, which is something really concerning. This white basically means, yeah, you're losing money, but it's because you're constructing things. And if you want to right the ship, you can always just stop constructing. But we don't. Stopped improving our mutual relations. That's fine. We're up to cordial with them, so we're going to be fine. And we have an open slot, because we have plenty of influence, so we might want to start improving our relations even with Russia. Just make things a little bit less bad. And you know what? Just to give us a little bit more, to have a little more fun here, I think I will declare a rivalry with Denmark, which will give us another plus 200 influence and negatively hurt our relations. But that's okay. I mean, I think it's a natural... I'm surprised they even let Denmark be a nation. Are they really a nation? It's just Paradox's cruel joke on us to allow them as a playable nation, and I'm sure. So we got some pop-ups here. Inefficient. Oh boy. Well, we can get migration attraction to... Yeah, so the industrialists are complaining about subsistence farms. We don't want subsistence farms. They don't really help the economy at all. They're just people doing their own thing. Like, their population, which doesn't contribute to the national economy, basically. So we want to get people out of doing that. So we probably need to give them someplace to go, though, in which case I think... this is 19.8. This is 20.7. It's even better. Yeah. So we need to continue to... What's our logging at? 24%. Services is bad. Iron's worse. We need iron first. We'll just keep producing it. Surprisingly, the cash reserves here... Oh, they must have just finished producing because it's like they're definitely making money. So I'm surprised to see that their bank isn't completely full. Arms industry having a bit of a problem, I see. They might actually, so I mean, you could subsidize things, by the way, but they have it looks like they've dropped their employment to get, it's nice. You have a hands off, like laissez-faire type policy, right? Things will balance themselves out. they'll decide to produce, like, hire less people, and then they'll have, you know, that will balance itself out, so they won't lose money. You know, they won't be producing as much goods, which means that these items were going to become more expensive, so there is this whole effect. But if we subsidize it, by the way, they will go back up to full employment, and they'll produce as many items as they can. However, we are then interfering with the natural capitalist flow of the economy, and, you know, that has downsides, that we're kind of introducing an artificial, you know, bubble, I guess you could say. And then as soon as we stop subsidizing, well, I mean, the price of this will go up, and then whatever is depending on this. Well, in this case, it's just the military, so it's not that big of a deal. But who cares about the military? They're not that big of a deal. Now, obviously they are, but... Alright, we need more tooling factories. Always more tooling factories. I find that it's just, you can't produce enough of these things. Okay, general staff. That's not something we're worried about right now. It does give us skirmish infantry. So the way you manage military, by the way, in this game, you manage the quality of your troops through the barracks. You can improve, like, we can go from line now to skirmish infantry, but this has some impacts. It requires ammunition, which we don't produce. So that would have a negative drain on our economy. I'm going to leave things all the way they are right now. Eventually, if we have rubber and all that, we can get bicycle messengers, you know? It's, I don't know, very cool. So this is how you'd improve the like, offense, defense of your economy, that's your army. And similarly for your naval base, this is where you control the ships. Right now I'm producing man-of-wars. But eventually we can go to ironclads. But of course, in order to get ironclads, if we just start demanding ironclads, who's going to produce them for us? Well, we can import them. Just get an import from the tools. Or if we don't, you know, if we don't want to import, I mean, I guess ironclads aren't. Oh, we can import man of wars. If we don't want to even produce our own, we can import our own ships. I kind of think of this as, like, typically a lot of people built their ships from Britain. You know, like Turkey, I guess, right? The Ottomans, I guess. And yeah, that's how you would do it. You would literally just import for your military. Pretty cool. But you can also go to your port. No, not port, sorry. Shipyard, there it is. Shipyard. And we can change what we're producing here. Wooden ships, reinforced wooden ships. Are they military? Are they civilian? Okay, a peace treaty between the Kazakhs and Russia. Looks like Russia has annexed the Kazakhs, sorry to say. But it doesn't matter. Russia's just going to do its Russian thing. And we are improving relations with them. No more improving our relations that we can do. Getting a trade agreements with different people is beneficial as well. Like right now, I'm not managing trade agreements at all. I'm trying to... What is it called when you do everything yourself? I'm trying to basically make myself self-sufficient. That's not going to be possible, and it's not even... Like, I don't even think it's a good thing to try to do. At least, in my experience, it hasn't been a good thing to try to do. It's very easy to just help your economy along by importing something. For example, we're making tools right now. If I want to lower the cost of tools before this completes, I can just import tools. I can always cancel that. It'll probably become unproductive even when I start making so many tools that the market kind of gets flooded with tools. But man, this game is basically a market simulator, which is what we expected from Vicky, right? Oh man, okay. So, moving along, we'll go back up to 4 speed. Okay, iron has now decreased in price, presumably because we have built some iron mines. Wine has decreased in price, I don't know why, because we're not really controlling that. And coal has entered the market and is immediately probably getting slammed because there's no demand for it. Not yet. But we can go over here and increase the gas lights. Gas street lights. We're just gonna gaslight people, no big deal. And now we should see a demand for coal increase. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just wonderful to see the economy working together. So we made coal, which is extremely expensive, but that's fine because it's extremely expensive because there's a high demand for it based on the fact that our urban centers are now demanding it, and actually they can't produce as much as they want. So what we need to do is either import coal temporarily. So we want to increase our number of mines, obviously. It's something we're going to want to do. Our infrastructure is actually maxed out, so if we build anything more here, which includes the tools that are already being built, and including the coal mines which we want to build, we need more infrastructure. There are several ways to get more infrastructure. We already are applying one of them, which is the decree to increase the road maintenance. But there are other ways. We can build ports. So having a level 2 port here would be fine. If we could get to industrial port, you can see that anchorage gives you plus 10 convoys. Cargo port gives you plus 5 infrastructure and plus 200 convoys. So an anchorage is very cheap, it doesn't really cost much to maintain. But a cargo port, now you're actually, you have clippers, it gives you a lot of convoys, so it requires clippers. An industrial port just goes up from there, we'd actually need steamers for that. But instead of just, another way of increasing capacity is just, we'll get another one of these. This will give us another 5 infrastructure. Now, in the meantime, we will just suffer with a slightly lower trade efficiency, which means that going to this screen, there's buy orders and sell orders, and the numbers that are generated inside the local market will be reduced by that percentage when they meet the global market. So, it's not good, but at 9% or whatever it's going to be at, it won't be too bad for us. It'll be manageable. Yeah, we're doing okay. Even infrastructure here is... And there are techs we can use to expand, and probably we do want to do that. I'm not going to hire another person because the hiring of them does require bureaucracy, and even 10 bureaucracy I'm going to value as a means of engaging in more trade agreements. Right now we're not engaging in any. But here's a good example. Liquor is really expensive. I don't know if we are doing liquor already. We should. We're not. No, this one. Wait. Liquor. I need rye, not the other one. So where is it? Rye farms. Yeah, we're already doing potatoes, which generates liquor. We're already using the best tools we can. And very soon, we have already selected to try to get soil enriching. Now that'll only produce more grain. I don't know if it has an impact on the number of potatoes, so therefore the number of liquor. I think it does. But anyway, you can see that we're producing a lot of liquor right now and a little bit of grain. So unfortunately, we just don't have enough of these farms. And they are making a lot of money, so we can probably just increase the number of them. You have infrastructure? Yeah. So we got another livestock farm there, which has produced more liquor. Okay, egalitarianism has been researched. It's very cool the way the tech works. I say very cool. I'm just excited about everything right now. I'm like a puppy dog wagging his tail very excitedly, dancing around the car. Okay, here we go. We got atmospheric engine. So now we can go to our coal mines and our iron mines and everything. And I guess we need to expand this, right? So we can do atmospheric engine. This is going to require more tools, but that's fine. We'll just have to eat that, and we'll import tools if we don't have enough tools. But that's going to help now with the... What is it? Is it the urban center? It's using this? Yes. And how did this impact things? Well, look at that. Services have gone down in price. Oh man, the economy is just working. It's working. And we should be producing nonstop because we can always get, more. And by the way, did I mention that I wanted our GDP to double in like 20 years? Well, we're already up from 5 to 6.4, so we're probably looking on pace to double by 10 years, which is pretty insane. Population is not growing nearly as much as I want, but when the standard of living continues to go up, then, which it surprisingly dipped down a little bit there, as the price of everything goes up, as people are getting paid more, as long as we keep our basic goods, which includes probably needing to increase textiles. How is this looking? People like to wear clothes, I've been told. Even if it's not true for me personally. So yeah. We might have to increase this, but it doesn't look like that's an impact. Yeah, price is a little bit higher. Yeah, so once we can bring these things down, and that'll be very helpful. It's just, man, I'm seeing a lot of demand for iron, so we need to continue to grow this. And make sure that we're not going over our infrastructure usage, and we are very close to doing that. How's this tech looking? Okay, only 9 weeks left, and then we need to switch to something which gives us... I know that one of these... Yeah, exactly. Plus 0.05 infrastructure from population and 10 plus 10 maximum. This is what we need. Modern sewage. I should almost switch to it right now, but we only have 7 weeks to wait. So we'll stay the course. Anyway, this has already been 35 minutes. I can't believe how quickly this video has gone by. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in the video here. It gives you, this has only been a glimpse of the economy. And by the way, we started off as a minor power, and we have grown into being a major power. Which, again, doesn't have a huge influence to us right now, besides this minus 25% loan interest rate. Because as you can see, my reckless spending, look at the gold reserves. This balance has just stayed pretty much negative the entire time. So that's the motivation for why we might want to get central banking. It's already being slowly lent to us. And that is what I was going to say. It's very cool how the technology works that, you focus on one thing, but everything is kind of spreading the way you would expect technology to do. So, one person can focus on inventing something, but that invention will spread. Central banking is spreading. We are in the process of inventing intensive agriculture, which that doesn't mean that we're the first person to invent it. Somebody else may have already invented it, but we're, working on it on our own because that's what we're prioritizing before it's spread to us through general osmosis of ideas. Okay, anyway, I'm going to call the video to a close here. Victoria 3, I hope you're excited. I look forward to playing a lot more. Until the next one, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.